All right, well, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the True Enthusiast channel. My name is Nathan, and today we are actually going to be taking a look at my vehicle, the 2022 Hyundai Kona N. All right, so the goal for today's video is just to give you guys kind of an overview and an idea of what it's really like to have this car as a daily driver. So I'm actually personally coming from a 2020 Civic hatchback, so obviously probably one of the most daily drivable cars there is on the planet. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of kind of the transition, some of the similarities, some of the differences, and yeah, just go over what this is actually like to have on a day-to-day basis. All right, so to start off here, I just wanted to show you guys how many miles we actually had on the car. So as you can see in that bottom right-hand corner, it looks like we have 1,163 miles. So we're a little over 1,000 there. I have actually had the vehicle for about a month now, almost exactly a month. So I wanted to give you guys kind of an in-depth review from an owner's perspective of what it's really like to drive this every single day. I know I already told you guys that I'm actually coming from a 2020 Civic. Obviously, great car, great gas mileage. Had all the features I needed because it was an EX, so it was a little bit higher end on the technology. So I'm going to go over some of the things that I really love, and then some of the things that I actually kind of dislike after having had the vehicle for a while now. So let's hop right into it, guys. All right, so I really just want to kind of knock out the negatives real quick because we're not going to take too much time on them because I have a lot of good to say about this car. But there are two things that I want to point out specifically that have been a little bit of a negative experience for me, but nothing too crazy, not a deal breaker or anything, but I do want to mention them. The first being the tires that come with this car. So as you can see, we have some Pirelli performance tires here. They're super grippy, they get hot really fast, and one negative side of them is they do create a lot of road noise because they pick up rocks, they kick up rocks quite a lot. So if road noise is a big thing to you, you're going to want to get different tires. The other thing about the tires is I live in Ohio, so I'm very used to winter driving, and there's just no way I can use these in the winter. I'd be slipping and sliding everywhere. So right off the bat, I know that I'm going to have to invest some extra money into getting a set of tires for the winter, and probably even a set of wheels, because these are custom wheels for the N series, and I do not want to get those things dirty. All right, so the other sort of negative that I did want to go over with you guys, hopping back into the car here, I wanted to show you, as you can see at the very bottom portion of the screen here, in the middle, you can see that little bar that's showing our gas mileage. As you can see, right now we're averaging 18.8, which is obviously not the greatest. Like I told you guys, coming from that Civic that I was driving, I was getting anywhere between like 32 miles per gallon to like 40 on the highway. In this car, I'm not usually as low as 18.8. I am right now because I've been driving a lot in N mode. But actually, if I show you this real quick, as you can see on this main display, if I use this little knob right here and I just switch it back one time, it's actually going to bring up eco mode. This is mostly what I drive in throughout town, unless again I want to get an N mode by just clicking this button and then having some fun. That's honestly, sometimes it's hard to not drive in N mode. But going back to the eco mode, if you take a look here, this is actually, it's actually been proven to be pretty good for me. It really does help me save on gas mileage. But like I said, that's another downside because I think the car's actually rated for like 20 in the city and 27 on the highway. So you're getting more gas mileage, kind of like a truck. But I think the fuel tank's about 13.2 gallons, so it's obviously not nearly as big as a truck would be. But that'd probably be my second downside for this in a daily driver perspective. All right, so now that we got the negative things out of the way, I wanted to point out to you guys some of my favorite things about this car. And honestly, the biggest thing from a daily driver perspective is going to be the fact that you don't sacrifice performance. Even though it's a daily driver, you still get that comfortable driving experience without sacrificing any power or anything like that. So if you didn't know, this car is 276 horsepower and it is capable of 286 with that NGS button on the steering wheel. It's kind of like an overboost function. Adds 10 horsepower for 20 seconds, which is really fun to play with. But like I said, you don't sacrifice any comfortability while you're driving this car. As you can see, we have a really premium interior, really super nice leather wrapped steering wheel with the blue stitching, and then these bucket seats, which are absolutely awesome. Honestly, probably my favorite seats that I've ever seen in a car. I've been in Civic Type Rs, I've been in Focus RSs, and these seats are my absolute favorite out of all of them. Super nice, high quality materials. The bolstering hugs you really well, but not too much, so a bigger person can still fit in here. And then again, you got leather and you got like this Alcantara suede like material, so super nice all around. Kind of give you guys a little bit more of a picture of this here. And then the back seat, gonna be perfect even if you're someone with kids. You know, my wife and I, we eventually want to have kids. This could easily fit 2 car seats in the back with no problem. And then of course enough space in the hatchback to fit anything in there like luggage or anything. So from this perspective, it is super daily drivable because it can be so comfortable, but you're still getting all that fun power to have a good time in it. So that definitely the first plus for me. All right, guys, so second plus for me from a daily driver perspective is absolutely going to be technology. This car has all the technology that I personally would ever need. And like I said, I am coming from a Civic. It was an EX, so it was higher up in the technology package. It had things like a moonroof. It actually had a lane watch camera. So like if I turned my right signal on, it would pop up on the main display so I could see my blind spot. It had all sorts of stuff. It had heated seats, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, forward collision warning, all that sort of stuff. So compared to that vehicle, like I said, that's one of the most daily drivable vehicles that there is. Since I'm coming from that and coming to this, it's got a lot of the same features, and it's also actually lacking some, which I want to talk about in 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to just show you guys real quick. Obviously, if we look over here, our right mirror, we're not going to have that little camera. However, we do have blind spot monitoring, if you can see that little emblem on the far right side of the mirror. And what that does, it lights up yellow and just lets you know if someone's in your blind spot. Pretty standard on most vehicles these days, but honestly, it works really well, and honestly, it works just as well as the camera did without there being a camera, so I don't really miss that. So that's one part of the technology that I do appreciate. All right, so moving over to the steering wheel here, as you can see, we obviously have a few buttons. This first one that I want to talk about is going to be this one right here. This is actually the lane centering assist on the vehicle, and it is absolutely dead on. It's the most accurate that I've ever personally used in any vehicle, and I worked at a dealership, so I've tried it on all sorts of makes and models. It keeps you dead in the center of your lane, and as long as the car can pick up the lane that you're driving in, it's going to keep you right in the middle. And then obviously above that, we have this little cruise control button. Now this doesn't have adaptive cruise, which my Civic did have, but I actually don't miss that at all because I kind of like being in control of when the car stops and resumes. So not a big deal to me. This car does have forward collision warning, so it's still going to beep if you're about to hit someone and still stop the car to the best of its ability. So I don't really miss the adaptive cruise. All right, so moving down to the climate, as you can see, this does not have dual climate control either. It's just single climate. However, again, not something that I really miss. This cabin, as you guys can see, it's not huge, but it's still big enough to where there's enough room for people. But the dual climate, I never really even used. Honestly, when my wife and I would get in the car, we would just choose a temperature to agree upon anyways. So it does a great job of cooling this down or heating it up. I've used the heat and the cooling here, so pretty standard. And yeah, again, not really anything that I feel like I'm sacrificing there. All right, I figured this would actually be real good to mention from a daily driver perspective, is the fact that we have actually heated seats on both sides, which is for me a huge plus. Coming from that Civic, I always said I will never get a car without heated seats again. It's a complete game changer, and a lot of times you can't get heated seats in a performance car. It just doesn't happen. You know, you got bucket seats or whatever. So I'm super hyped on that. I was really excited about that. And then another thing, looking down here near the gear shifter, is actually up here. We do have a wireless charger for your phone. So say someone's using the USB outlet, and then, you know, someone else is using these two USBs over here. Someone can lay their phone down here and actually charge their phone that way. So that's kind of a cool little feature. All right, so moving over to this infotainment screen, this is an awesome infotainment system. This is going to be a 10.25 inch display, and it's not only very high resolution, but it's also buttery smooth. It's really responsive, and it literally has everything you probably ever need. It's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's actually got onboard navigation, which is actually really handy. If you look here, right here, it's going to show your map, and then you can actually show some other stuff over here at the same time, which is cool. Clock, compass, calendar. You can show the weather, and then any media that's playing or anything. So this infotainment system is really awesome. And one of my favorite things, which I'm sure you guys have probably already heard about, is the N mode screen. So if we click that star, I have the star set to turn on N mode. And as you can see here, this is going to show stuff like throttle percentage, oil and engine temp. And this, it's actually kind of funny because this, on this little circuit map, that little red dot will move when the car moves, which is kind of funny. Show you how hard you're pressing the brake. Again, it'll show you throttle percentage. If we move over here, this is really cool. So this is for N mode as well. And this is just going to kind of be your adjustability for like different parts of the vehicle. So engine, steering, suspension, all that good stuff. I have everything set to Sport Plus for N mode. You even have launch control over here. You can look at the G-force, put that on the screen. So this car has all sorts of stuff, and I just couldn't be happier. And also, I did want to talk about this before I forget. The Blue Link. So this is something that I have not seen, I don't think anyone talk about, which is really surprising because this is a great feature. This is actually something that you download on your phone. It's free for 3 years from Hyundai, which is crazy. I've heard of like Toyota Connect and all that for Toyota, or Honda. Honda has one, Honda Link. But those were like, I think like a year subscription free, and then you pay per month. This is 3 years, which is crazy to me. And then I think it's only like $8 a month or something once that free trial does end. But what this is actually an app that you get on your phone where you can like remote start your car from pretty much anywhere. And when you remote start your car, it's so cool. You can set it to like a summer setting, so it turns on the fans, or you can set it to like defrost the mirrors and the windshield in the winter. So it's a really, really handy app. You can schedule service appointments and all that good stuff too. Flash the horn, flash the lights. You can honk the horn on there. You can check the status of everything. If I go inside in my house and I look at the app, it'll show me like that my parking brake's engaged. It'll show that the doors are locked, that the car's off, that the windows are rolled up, all of that cool stuff. So definitely something I've not heard people talk about, but if you do end up getting one of these vehicles, you're gonna want the Blue Link app, and your Hyundai dealer should help you out with that anyways. All right, guys, so to just wrap up with you, I would absolutely say that this car is 100% daily drivable. It's been a blast for me owning it, to be honest with you. I couldn't imagine having any different car than this one. It's just so fun to drive while being so convenient from a comfort standpoint. When you put this thing in eco mode as compared to N mode, it's just very comfortable. It loosens up the steering and the suspension. If you're running over railroad tracks or potholes, you're not gonna, rattle around in there. And then once you get into a back road in the country, you turn N mode on and you just have a blast. I've never had more fun driving any car. It's so practical. And again, I mean, look at this thing. I got the Sonic Blue. It's my color of choice. I was hoping I was going to get this. I actually almost had to get the red version of the car. I'm not sure the name of the red paint, but I ended up getting the Sonic Blue, and I couldn't be happier. It looks so sweet. And I know the camera's probably not going to do the color justice, but if we go back to the back, we can look at my favorite shot of the car, which is the rear end. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would ask you to just please leave a like and subscribe. It's our first ever video on the channel. I'm super stoked to show you guys more about the car, show you guys just more in-depth reviews, driving stuff. We're gonna be putting some stuff on the car, some accessories, and who knows where this will take us. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.